Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
We have arrived. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome to First Contact Radio. This is the Friday edition. All right, space weather, cosmic weather right here. We are at the 9th, same as yesterday. Sun, Leo, Moon, Virgo. So we got Earth and Fire. Fire is the ideas and the creativity. That's the conscious mind of Leo. Remember, the term associated with it is righteousness or right useness of the energy, which is to allow it to flow through the heart first so everything gets colored by love. And Virgo, the earth sign, is all about the practicality of bringing those ideas and things down into the world. Practicality and the idea of patience and timing. Understanding that every has a timing, everything grows according to its own pace, and if we understand that, it helps us to understand the practical nature of how things are manifest. Moving on from there, the moon phase today is 7% of the way full, making its way towards the full moon. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 9-tone day. Those are called the solar tones of intention. Mirror is the guide for today. The wizard is the guide. Phrase is, I pulse in order to reflect, realizing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of timelessness. We are also still in the wave spell of the dog, which is love, loyalty. We're going to be there over the weekend. Spaceweather.com, solar wind 412.8. Planetary K index is quiet, but it's up a little bit higher than it was yesterday, between the 2 and the 3. We don't see much in the coronal holes here in the middle, but we do see something that's starting to turn this way. We'll see how that develops. M-class flare possibility has gone up very slightly, and geomagnetic storm activity has actually, well, it's gone up 60% severe in the next 24 hours if you're in the higher latitude. So something's coming in. I believe we have a CME headed our way, so we'll stay tuned and see what happens there. For more updates on what is going on with the sun and other Earth-related events, this is Suspicious Observers.
Good morning, folks. Chapter 1 of Star Water discusses water and the potential for life in our solar system. These authors have likely never seen Star Water, my website, or this channel, but they've managed to write a paper that could be a direct response or complement to the ideas in Chapter 1. Water is more abundant on Europa and many other moons than most people know, most who haven't seen Star Water, that is. This discusses landing on Europa and what the findings might be. NASA Goddard Scientific Visualization Studio has 2 new animations. This one and the explanation linked for you show fire intensity and the energy generated around the events. They also put out an evaporation prediction map for North America. This is one way you can tell that they're still focused on heat amidst the climate extremes, at least looking forward to 2100. NOAA's Scientific Visualization Studio is top-notch as well. Here, revealing water temperatures in the Atlantic. However, it's shown in the context of Atlantic hurricane predictions. Predicted to be very strong, reaffirmed here, even as we've had only 1 or 2 minor events in the Atlantic, while we've spent days trying to figure out if the 8th or 9th storm in the Pacific is going to tag Hawaii. Most are saying no. Even still, she is weakening. Brand new tropical system in the east, this one preliminarily headed for Hong Kong. Top watch, Here's the cell moving south to the North Island of New Zealand. Europe is the same story as yesterday, with heat east and major storms as the convergence crosses the continent. You need to check local weather conditions here. Latest drought look updated from drought.gov. Soil moisture indicates it's worst out west. The air masses meeting along the eastern coast and down through the Gulf today. More flooding potential in the east central states. See the density, speed, and plasma temperature of the solar wind rise. I think this is a weak glancing blow from this eruption here, but we'll come back to CMEs. GOES shows flaring is nil. Primary active region is turning away today, and I bet you can tell that even this developed beta region is perfectly separated magnetically and therefore less likely to fire. But in fact, it already has. In the wake of whatever is hitting now will come one, and then two. The second more visible and definitively bigger than the first from the south central active region. You can really see the breadth of ejecta affecting the solar surface for hundreds of thousands of miles. NASA's Enlil spiral shows this burst to be headed our way, but as before, not a direct hit and not terribly large. Even still, taking what we're taking now, followed by those double CME impact NOAA's Enlil spirals showing here, Aurora Watch and geomagnetic storms are likely to follow. That energy influx will work its way to our core via the magnetic field, around the same time the umbral opening shows wide and the coronal holes cometh. We can see them now. Hello, beastie up there on the top left. Quake Watch score was 5 last night. We're at 6 today and trending upward. Eyes open. No fear. It's 6:55 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, suspicious observers. All right, let's turn our attention back to the Bigfoot. Bigfoot. So, first thing is this website right here I want to show you. It's called bigfootevidence.blogspot.com. Okay. And there you got a lot of stuff. Here's Bigfoot wearing shoes. Obviously, it's not Bigfoot there, but they do have, if you go down, they do have a lot of images, a variety of pictures that people have taken and sent in. Some you'll probably feel are real, some you probably will think are not real. Alright, but they've got a whole variety of information here. Alright. And then you got stories like being captured by a Bigfoot right here. I was kidnapped by a Sasquatch. There's stories out there of Bigfoot that has rescued people. Alright. So lots and lots of Bigfoot information here at this website. Alright, so check this site out. bigfootevidence.blogspot.com. Alright, so now I have for you a couple of videos here. First one's a shorter video. I think it's 4 minutes long, 2 minutes long. This is a gentleman who saw something and chased it. Basically, what a lot of these Bigfoot videos are, because I've been scouring through lots of them, a lot of them are of people chasing something they see in the woods, and sometimes you get a clear view of it, sometimes you don't. That's where some of the hoax stuff comes in, because it seems as if they're doing the Blair Witch Project, or in this case it would be the Bigfoot Project, in which they're running and the camera's down. But some of them are actually pretty good. There's some footage out there that you look at that is pretty good info, pretty good footage. So let's check out some of this here. This is called Incredible Bigfoot Footage 2013.
Get in the house. Get in the house.
All right, so there's first one. So what do you think? Person in an outfit, the real deal? Was this a staged event? I don't know. I don't know on the whole Bigfoot issue here. But a lot of those videos are like that. You can see the stealthy human and their ability to move quietly through the woods. In each and every of these videos, it always seems to be the same. You've got the Bigfoot, which is out there, alleged Bigfoot, which is out there, and then you've got the humans running through the wood, stepping on branches, making all kind of noise. It's you know, I don't know, kind of funny just seeing all of that, the stealthiness. All right, and this one here, this one is I think this is it. Listen to this. It's not. I'm not sure what language this is.
A kettőt nem összekeverjük, hanem külön vesszük. Szóval, csapjunk is be a lecsóba, kezdjük a videókkal.
De úgy csak videók vannak.
Yeah,
So basically what I want to do is let me just jump through here and just what we have here is a variety of different pieces of footage of what looks like the Bigfoot creature. You see the one out here. Alright. Some of these you've seen before because they're the real famous ones. Well, this is a 22-minute video filled with all kind of Bigfoot stuff. Bigfoot images. Okay, pretty good. There's Michigan. I'm just going to let it play for a while, alright? I'm going to be quiet.
Emberi kísérlet is lehet.
Simán előfordult az is, hogy a múltból egy állatfaj így fennmaradt valahol barlangokban, vagy bárhol.
Igen, mivel fönt vannak ezek a hegyekben általában, minek jöttek volna le?
Hát úgy mindig találunk újabb izéket, új állatfajokat tenger alatt mindenhol, szóval.
Hát a tengernek a 70%-át nem ismerjük, ma mai napig. Itt mi a lényeg?
Ez mutat ilyen képeket, hogy feltúrta valami a talajt, furcsaságok. Például ez a lábnyom, amit találtak.
Mégis csak azért ilyen...
És egy jó videó amúgy.
Aha, és hova lett? Ja. Hát de lassan annyit nő a generáció, hogy lassan már tényleg ekkora lesz egy tininek a lába kb. Most akkor a hegedű tokok vannak, bazd meg, hogy az valami elképesztő.
De ugye ez már 1800-as években, 1870-ben is felfedezték, vagy akkor is van róla ilyen leírás, hogy láttak egy ilyen majomembert mászkálni a hegyekben, meg ilyenek. Meg hát az indiánoknál is ugye volt az elején, hogy Sasquatchnak nevezik az indiánok, szóval ők is tudják, hogy van, látták, tisztában vannak vele.
Ők is elnevezték, igen.
És egy kép, nem tudom, ez olyan hülyének néz ki ugye, igazából.
Ez olyan, mint a tartaná ilyen szörfesz.
Amúgy Magyarországnak is megvan a maga Bigfootja, úgymond ez egy fanyűvő, ugye?
Igen.
Az is érdekes dolog.
Na, itt?
Ott a bokorban valami van.
Aha.
Meg ilyeneket el lehet fogni szarvasra is, szóval
Hát
nem
igen.
mérvadó dolog.
Nem.
Lehet látszani fog valami ott? Nem. Ja, meg voltak ilyen jelentések, hogy egy csávó elvileg elütötte ugye a Yetit, vagy a Bigfootot, Yetit.
Jó, hát azt most kiveszi.
És akkor volt, nem, hogy megtámadt őket konkrétan, hogy mi volt, hogy a kocsiban, és ott volt a nyál mintája, a falon szőrcsomók, meg ilyenek, de azt nem tudom, mi volt azzal már. Nem hiszem, hogy megerősítették volna, hogy ez tényleg az volt.
De ezek totál ilyen majom-szerűen.
Aha, ez is például mi? Nem tudom igazából eldönteni. Paul Freeman videó. Úgy összemírja a kezét, vagy a lábát. Ez a lába lenne? Most ezt nem látom így igazából.
Szerintem akkor lábát.
Enged ott az ujja. Azok a lábujjak.
Aha. Az mi?
Ez elvileg egy kép. Soha nem lett bizonyítva, hogy valós-e. Ez is egy híres kép. Ez egy szemtanú rajza az élő lényről. És szerinted?
Most azon gondolkozok igazából, hogy hogyan, mert oké, majomszerű, oké. Csak ugye attól különbözik, hogy ő egyenesen megy, mint az ember.
Hát ez olyan, hogy ők is elágaztak. Mikor mi elágaztunk, a homo sapiensből lettünk homo sapiens sapiens, akkor még lehet valami homo sapiens
homo erectus
verzió. Az korábbi.
Ja. Hát ő is az.
Mert nem biztos, lehet, hogy a homo sapiens az olyan szőrös ember volt lényegében, és abból fejlődtünk mi homo sapiens sapiensek ki. Most lehet, ő meg más irányba fejlődött el. Homo sapiens fenyő.
De nagyon kevés lehet belőle, max. egy-kettő.
Hát sok helyről említenek ilyen majom embereket, amúgy az a vicces. Ott mondtam, Magyarországon is például láttak már ilyen dolgot, de Lengyelországból is volt felvétel, mit tudom én, onnan még, Oroszországból is például.
Hát igen, azért ez elég durva, hogy ennyi helyen látnak mégis ugyanazt. De az mi volt?
Ott fut valami. Hát
Jó van, de a pixelek annyira összemosódtak, hogy
hát
csak ki lett
ugye a
volna.
normális felvétel, mint általában a dolgokról.
De ez miért van? Ez miért van, hogy
Mert
nincs egy Full HD-s felvé?
Megy a vadász az erdőbe, akkor nem visz magával egy 5 millió
Jó, de
forintos
mai
kamerát.
technikával most már lehetne. Sőt, a mai technikával már úgy szétbombáznák.
Azt is miatt akkor ennyi erővel?
Hát ez egy gorilla.
Igen, most döntsd el melyik.
Ez mi?
Ez meg a fanyű.
Ja? Eszi a fát.
Hát tényleg olyan volt, amúgy nem azért. Most ez is, egy medve rossz pózban.
Az nem megy.
Az a híres kép, amire azt mondják,
Ezt megijedtünk megint, baszi, állandóan megijed magát.
az egy fehér valami például.
Hol van?
Ott van karikázva.
Ja, látom.
De ami
All right, so you can see there's a lot of good images there, a lot of good Bigfoot images, pictures that people have taken. It's a lot more to this video. It's 22 minutes long, so I've just played a little portion of it. But I'm going to leave the rest for you, and that's our Bigfoot for the week. So I hope you enjoyed all the different stories and so on and so forth. And UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today's UFO News has 5 stories. Story number 1, UFOs near the sun in the official NASA pictures. This is a review for August 7th. We've seen a variety of things up by the sun. Very large objects, much larger than the Earth itself. UFO activity seems to be picking up around the sun, with the news from NASA that our sun will flip its magnetic field in 1 to 3 months' time. They say it will affect most things in the solar system to some degree, but on Earth we will probably not notice it. Okay, so there we see a lot of these different images up there. So the question is, what's going on? Obviously there's some connection between the sun and the pole flipping that's about to take place. So question is, if the pole's going to flip and they say that most of the it will affect most things in the solar system to some degree, but we will not notice it on Earth, exactly how does that happen? If this energy comes off the sun because of this reversal, and that energy radiates outward, won't Earth be affected because it's closer than some of these other planets and things in the solar system? So if other things are affected in the solar system, would Earth not as well be affected, because Earth is also one of those things in the solar system, right? So NASA may be saying one thing, but if you think about it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Sun's going to flip and everything's going to be affected in the solar system, but not the Earth? We're not going to even notice it? Alright, moving on. Next story here, triangle formation hovering above Cape Canaveral. That's where the NASA is. New video of triangular formation hovering over Cape Canaveral in Florida. This was taken on Wednesday the 7th of August. Here's the image in question right here. Witness reports during the Delta launch in the evening of the 7th. I was able to capture 3 to 4 lights that formed a triangle formation that held formation while the Delta 4 released its boosters.
I like a clean kitchen.
Alright.
I make dirt.
Oh, we got there as a commercial. So I'm going to go to the next one here.
There should be some ways to make
This is a UFO seen and filmed over Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This was on the 8th.
Oh my goodness.
What is a wet chip?
Some kind of a mopping device.
Okay.
A lot of dirt on here. Morty, look at
It
us.
says
It's almost like dancing.
the interesting footage was recorded on the sky above Pittsburgh on Thursday. There we go. That's a good shot. Look at that. Really good shot right there. Alright, so that was above Pittsburgh on the 8th. Let's go back over here to Cape Canaveral. There we go. There's the shot taken off. Somewhere in here we're going to see our object. Let's see here, not seeing it yet. Alright, still going. There we go. There's our objects. Right here. So, they appear to have been there the whole time, silently just watching what's going on, watching what silly things humans might be doing now. Okay, moving on. Question here, are these blue light UFOs coming through wormholes? Is it possible that these bright electric blue lights or gas clouds are created by a craft exiting a wormhole? Good question. On Wednesday night, a witness captured a camera's spectacular electric blue light. Another witness apparently observed crafts exit from the same light. Hopefully this phenomena will be investigated. August 7, 2013. Saw this very glowing blue cloud-like. Wasn't a cloud because it didn't move as the rest of the clouds did. Didn't make any sound. It just faded in 5 minutes. I managed to take a few pics, use my telescope to get a view, but only the blue gas was observed. By the way, the pictures do not make justice on how big or glow or even beautiful this was. MUFON CMS. Miami, Florida says I was outside my home when I saw this star-like object that caught my attention because it was emitting a bow wave in front of it. There was another ship behind it following the main bigger one, and then a bigger one did this huge spray-like bow wave in midair. Just looked like the China sighting in 2010. As soon as this happened, the other ship behind it divided into smaller ships and continued to follow the bigger one. After a while, they were out of sight, but there was an electric blue cloud in the sky, much different than the rest, that disappeared a little bit after the ships were gone. Alright, so there you go. Question is, what is that? Is that a wormhole that's opening? Could be. And the last one here, this is a story going back to 1953. A RAF pilot by the name of Terry Johnson. And this is Terry Johnson and Jeff Smith interviewed by the BBC in the early 50s about their sighting of an unidentified flying object in November 1953. Let's listen to what is said here.
Johnson and Smythe were interviewed for us by Brian Begg.
Flying Officer Johnson and Flying Officer Smythe. And Flying Officer Johnson first, tell us exactly what had happened.
Well, the whole story began last Tuesday when we were flying in a Vampire night flight over Kent and at 20,000 feet, and I first sighted this object. The first sighting was of a tiny pinpoint of bright light. My first impression was that it was a star shining through the overcast, and I looked around to see if there were any more stars, but obviously there weren't. And I continued watching this thing, and for about 15 to 20 seconds it remained stationary, neither moving left or right. After this time, the thing obviously was moving towards us, and before it reached the overhead position, I nudged my navigator, Flying Officer Smythe, to have a look up. By the time it got to the overhead position, it appeared to be moving at quite a fast, fantastic speed, and my impression of it, more or less a photographic impression, was of a round object, quite distinct outline, still with the same intense light, with the maximum light around or towards the periphery of the circle, not quite so intense in the center. The size, the only thing I can compare it with is the sun or the moon, and I had said that the size was approximately half to three-quarters of the size of the moon. Its height, well, there again, I haven't anything to compare it with.
There's no cloud on that day.
No, there was no cloud at all. The visibility was about 100 miles. From where we were, we could actually see the other side of the Isle of Wight.
And what about its speed?
Well, I can't give any indication of speed, as I can't give a true idea of the height. The only thing is I can say that the impression was of an object very much higher above us, and therefore, depending on height, would depend on the speed, but truly has a very fantastic speed in roughly the opposite direction.
Thank you very much. Well, flying off the Smythe, can we have your side of the story?
Well, I was rather busy at the time, and I didn't see anything until the pilot told me to look up. And when I looked up, I saw this bright object almost immediately overhead, going in the opposite direction with quite fantastic speed.
And could it have been any sort of meteorological instrument or balloon, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think so. We've gone into this business, we've argued it out amongst ourselves, and we haven't yet arrived at anything conclusive. We don't think it was a meth balloon, we don't think it was another aircraft.
You're pretty used to seeing those.
I've seen quite a few.
Quite a few. Yeah. So what about your conclusions? You say you've drawn none. What did you think about this whole flying saucer story before you came across this one, or this event?
Well, up to this time, I was a confirmed skeptic, but now I think I have an open mind.
You're still open mind?
Just an open mind.
Right, well, thank you very much indeed.
RAF intelligence officers are now investigating every report of so-called flying saucers over Britain.
All right, so there you go. Now he has an open mind. That is our UFO news for today. I have much more news, so stay tuned. I'll be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right. Wake up, folks. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. U.S. government war on hackers backfires. Now top hackers won't work with the U.S. government. Dirt Tech has noted that the increasing demonization of hackers, not to be confused with crackers that break into the system for criminal purposes, for example, by trying to add an extra layer of punishment to other crimes if they were done on a computer. High-profile victims of this approach include Bradley Manning, Aaron Schwartz, Jeremy Hammond, Barrett Brown, and of course Edward Snowden. But as this Reuters story reports, the crass attempts to intimidate entire community in case anyone out there might use computers to embarrass the U.S. government or reveal its wrongdoing is starting to backfire. The U.S. government efforts to recruit talented hackers could suffer from the recent revelations about its vast domestic surveillance programs, as many private researchers expressed disillusionment about the National Security Agency. Though hackers tend to be anti-establishment by nature, the NSA and other intelligence agencies had made major inroads in recent years in hiring some of the best and brightest and paying for information on software flaws to help them gain access to target computers and phones. Much of that goodwill has been erased by the NSA's classified programs to monitor phone records, and internet activity were exposed by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden, according to prominent hackers and cyber experts. Closest to home for many hackers are the government's aggressive prosecutions under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which has now been used against Internet activist Aaron Swartz, who committed suicide in January, and U.S. soldier Bradley Manning, who leaked classified files to anti-secrecy website WikiLeaks. A letter circulating at DEF CON and signed by some of the most prominent academics in computer security said the law was chilling research in public interest by allowing prosecutors and victim companies to argue that violations of electronic terms of service constitute unauthorized intrusions. The latest development also exposes a paradox at the heart of the NSA spying program. Such total surveillance, things like GCHQ's Tempora, that essentially downloads and stores all internet traffic for a while, is only possible thanks to advances in digital technology. Much of the most innovative work there is being done by hackers. It's significant that the NSA's massive X-Core program runs on a Linux cluster, but as the NSA is now finding out, those same hackers are increasingly angry with the legit assault on both them and their basic freedoms. That may make it much harder to keep up at pace with the technological development with the spying program in the future unless the U.S. government takes steps to address hackers' concerns, something that seems unlikely. Can I just say the word betrayal? That's what the government is doing. They're betraying everybody. They're trying to recruit you, work for them, and then they betray you once you are working for them because they don't tell you what you're doing, and they're doing covert things that they tell you you shouldn't do, but they have no problem doing all these covert things behind your back. Well, hackers, smarten up out there. Don't work with the enemy. Now you know, right? They are spying on Americans. So if you are going to join their organization out there, then you've got to know that you're joining the side that's going to be spying on all of the other Americans. Don't do that, okay? Just don't do it. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, extinguishes 197 million people's Fourth Amendment rights in Constitution-free zones. Constitution-free zones are what the Department of Homeland Security has established. The federal agency really isn't securing the borders, but they are extinguishing the Fourth Amendment rights of nearly 197 million American citizens within 100 miles of the border and the ocean. Before I begin, isn't this really what freedom of the press is supposed to be about? Doesn't it exist to keep elected officials and things they do in check and expose corruption and lawlessness? Yeah, I thought so too, but why aren't we hearing this on the evening news? Anthony Gucciardari's reports in these constitution-free zones where law-breaking DHS is violating your constitutionally protected rights. According to Gucciardari, within the fabricated border, the DHS can search your electronic belongings for no reason. We're talking about no suspicion, no reasonable cause, nothing, no reason whatsoever is required under their own regulations. The Department of Homeland Security is the Department of Homeland Security above the law of the land? Absolutely not. However, the question I have for Congress is, why are you guys not reining in this agency and calling out their unconstitutional actions? Why? Because Congress has sold this out. Congress is just filled with a bunch of Americans who are no longer happy being American, so they want to sell everybody out. Congress has betrayed you. If this was the old days, many members of Congress would be tarred and feathered. They would not be there anymore, because I'm pretty certain our founding fathers wouldn't deal with the bullshit that's going on with Congress or with Washington these days. But we Americans, we tolerate it. We tolerate their lies. I don't know why. We tolerate their nonsense. We tolerate their corruption. We tolerate how they're killing Americans. We tolerate their betrayal of this country, and we continue to listen and believe their lies every day. Why? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Well, to continue to believe that they are going to treat you properly is insane. By definition, this country is officially insane. Insane to believe that the government agencies of the United States of America is actually going to help the people. It's not going to happen. Not unless something drastic goes on. Not unless those in the administration are replaced with good guys. Because right now we've got a Congress full of bad guys. We've got an administration full of bad guys. We have agencies, alphabet agencies filled with bad guys. We've got a big problem. I don't know what needs to happen, but I'm looking forward to the day, like the book of Enoch says, when they return and they remove the wicked and the ungodly. I can't wait for that day to come, because there's going to be a whole lot of governments around the world missing because they're full of wicked, ungodly people. So, Constitution-free zones, that's just nonsense. But that's set up by your government, your American government. Shameless, shameless, shameless. Now, this has been going on for a long time. A long, 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 long time. It didn't just start. You probably heard conspiracy theorists, like myself, talk about this a number of times, so it's not the first time you're hearing it. And these stories have been around. But a lot of people don't believe them when they hear that the media is lying to them. Oh no, the media will tell us the truth. Why would the media lie to us? That's what people say. Many people just don't consider all the possibilities. The people that work for the mainstream media, they work for television networks. Television networks that have one agenda: to make money. That is the agenda of a television network, to make money. It is not to inform you about what is going on. It is to make money through their programming. They make money by having sponsors. Sponsors pay for the show. When you watch the show and you see advertisements, when you see commercials, when you hear them giving plugs, it's because those organizations, those corporations are sponsoring that show. When their sponsors have particular agendas, that leaks down to what is being said on these news shows. When you have news agencies like Fox News, one of their biggest sponsors happens to be a Saudi prince, there's going to be certain ways in which the news presents information about what is going on in that part of the world. When you have organizations like CNN, which has the different ties that they have to the CIA and the stories of the CIA background and connections, you can see that there's not going to be a lot of clear information that's coming out to the American people. It's a smokescreen. And they're waving the wand every day thinking that you're going to be dumb enough to buy into their illusion. Many people are. Many people buy into this illusion. There are those who have woken up. This is a piece that goes back years. You're going to see by watching the video, it's an older video talking about how the CIA uses news to manipulate Americans. It's not just news. I'm not just making this up. This has been going on for a long while. So pay attention. Watch this.
LA's known definitely for its traffic, congestion, for the smog.
Important stuff. Very important stuff.
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. Now, we're looking at that very carefully.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
At CBS, we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation in 1954, ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
We have quite a lot of detailed information, and we will evaluate it, and we will include any evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of impropriety in our final report and make recommendations.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI.
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
Welcome to First Contact Radio. This is the Friday edition. All right, space weather, cosmic weather right here. We are at the 9th, same as yesterday. Sun, Leo, Moon, Virgo. So we got Earth and Fire. Fire is the ideas and the creativity. That's the conscious mind of Leo. Remember, the term associated with it is righteousness or right useness of the energy, which is to allow it to flow through the heart first so everything gets colored by love. And Virgo, the earth sign, is all about the practicality of bringing those ideas and things down into the world. Practicality and the idea of patience and timing. Understanding that things, has a timing, everything grows according to its own pace, and if we understand that, it helps us to understand the practical nature of how things are manifest. Moving on from there, the moon phase today is 7% of the way full, making its way towards the full moon. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 9-tone day. Those are called the solar tones of intention. Mirror is the guide for kin for today. The wizard is the guide. Phrase is, I pulse in order to reflect, realizing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of timelessness. We are also still in the wave spell of the dog, which is love, loyalty. We're going to be there over the weekend. Spaceweather.com, solar wind 412.8. Planetary K index is quiet, but it's up a little bit higher than it was yesterday, between the 2 and the 3. We don't see much in the coronal holes here in the middle, but we do see something that's starting to turn this way. We'll see how that develops. M-class flare possibility has gone up very slightly, and geomagnetic storm activity has actually, well, it's gone up 60% severe in the next 24 hours if you're in the higher latitudes. So
Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
We have arrived. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Well, something's coming in. I believe we have a CME headed our way, so we'll stay tuned and see what happens there. For more updates on what is going on with the sun and other Earth-related events, this is Suspicious Observers.
Good morning, folks. Chapter 1 of Star Water discusses water and the potential for life in our solar system. These authors have likely never seen Star Water, my website, or this channel, but they've managed to write a paper that could be a direct response or complement to the ideas in Chapter 1. Water is more abundant on Europa and many other moons than most people know, most who haven't seen Star Water, that is. This discusses landing on Europa and what the findings might be. NASA Goddard Scientific Visualization Studio has 2 new animations. This one and the explanation linked for you show fire intensity and the energy generated around the events. They also put out an evaporation prediction map for North America. This is one way you can tell that they're still focused on heat amidst the climate extremes, at least looking forward to 2100. NOAA's Scientific Visualization Studio is top-notch as well. Here, revealing water temperatures in the Atlantic. However, it's shown in the context of Atlantic hurricane predictions. Predicted to be very strong, reaffirmed here. Even as we've had only 1 or 2 minor events in the Atlantic, While we've spent days trying to figure out if the 8th or 9th storm in the Pacific is going to tag Hawaii. Most are saying no. Even still, she is weakening. Brand new tropical system in the east, this one preliminarily headed for Hong Kong. Top watch, here's the cell moving south to the North Island of New Zealand. Europe is the same story as yesterday, with heat east and major storms as the convergence crosses the continent. You need to check local weather conditions here. Latest drought look updated from drought.gov. Soil moisture indicates it's worst out west. The air masses meeting along the eastern coast and down through the Gulf today. More flooding potential in the east central states.